Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.
Live from the GBM studios in Belize City, it's Open Your Eyes. Start your morning right with your hosts, April Martinez and Desani Caetano.
Good morning and welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right.
I'm April Martinez.
And I am Isani Caetano. Good morning.
Good morning, Isani.
Good morning, my dear friend.
It's Tuesday. It's the Monday-est Tuesday ever.
Because you and I are set together, right?
Yes, indeed.
Before we get into discussing that, here's what we have for our show lineup for you guys this morning. We will be joined by Attorney Dickie Bradley to discuss his position and, of course, the ADA's position on the 13th Amendment. All right, we're also going to be talking about the central bank's new designs for the upcoming Family of Notes. And of course, we also are going to be discussing the preservation of heritage, Garifuna heritage, through the Pablo Lambey Foundation. Those are just a few of the topics that we have this morning.
Yes, and of course, those are going to be some wonderful conversations to jump into. But before we get into all of that and more, here are the 5 things that you need to know before you leave your home this morning. And of course, the first topic of conversation is, will the government of Belize honor their promise to the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association? There's also controversy stirring up in the West over the new named San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Hall building. The Belize is featured in Latin American magazine known as Reporte. U.S. blocks Taiwan president from New York stopover after China intervened. KTV The Remix Night 4 brings soulful R&B vibes tonight. And I think there's our wonderful conversations. There are a lot of hot topics that are trending over social media and in the news. But Isane, one of the topics that I have been seeing buzzing since yesterday evening was the new named San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Hall building. It's creating quite the stir over social media.
Yes, rightly so. So, to begin with, right, it's a bit strange. Not altogether unheard of,
right,
but peculiar, so to speak, that a building would be dedicated to the honor of someone who's still alive, who's still in office, right?
Yeah.
And so yesterday, when we got wind of this idea that the San Ignacio Santa Elena Town Hall would be named the Earl Trapp Building, while Earl Trapp is still the sitting mayor and has been so for the past 4 terms, it was met with a mixed bag, so to speak, right? And that's just putting it mildly.
Yes.
Because the UDP supporters who stand behind it have their position and they're comfortable with the building being named after Earl Trapp. Others who can't see the logic behind it are saying, what the hell?
Yeah, I think we've normally seen, we were talking about it a little bit before we got started, and we've said we normally see these buildings paying homage to persons that have come and gone.
Yeah.
To see, you have the Sir Edna Kane building in Belmont Pine, you have these other buildings and so forth around the country. And it's true, you know, the justification from Mayor Trapp and his council is that he has been serving the community for over 20 years. And this is just a way to, I guess, pay the respects to him. And that it was voted unanimously by his council, right? A unanimously United Democratic Party council, to say the least. And I don't know, I find that these types of things, I think you wait a little while to have something so grandiose to be named after you. A lot of persons that have buildings or features and so forth named after them, they've had 50, 60 years of service in a space. You know, I don't know.
This takes me back to pre-2020. I don't know if you would recall, but when Chetamal Street was built and it was adjoined to Lake Independence Boulevard by the bridge.
Right.
There was talk within the UDP at the time of naming the bridge the Dean Barrow Bridge.
Oh yes, yes,
right?
I remember
but
that.
It never really took root.
Never happened,
right?
yeah.
So people still loosely refer to it as a Chetamal Street Bridge. I don't know if it has a formal name, but it's called the Chetamal Street Bridge.
Yeah.
So that harkens back, you know, to the idea that why would we name an edifice after someone who's still very much present and what have you? But the flip side of that coin, it can be argued, why wait till the man dead to give him flowers, right? So I don't know where I stand on that, but I can see both sides of the coin in a manner of speaking.
Well, you know, we do have those conversations, Isani, where we give awards now to cultural custodians that are alive, or, you know, nation builders that are alive, because we don't want to wait to pay them that respect until they've long gone. Sorry. So there is some, I can understand it, but it just, to me, is it necessary? That is my question.
Some people will argue that there's a degree of hubris, perhaps, that comes along with it, you know. It's like this, April. Perhaps your friends and your colleagues want to throw a party for you, right? This is just a loose example. Want to throw a party for you. You're like, well, but I don't want a party. I don't need a party because what I've done isn't worth of, you know, having a party to celebrate me
just
and
fanfare.
Cool on that, right? You have, I'm saying that you have perhaps the power,
right?
Even though you're outnumbered in a case where you can say, but yeah, nah, man, make we move past that.
Yeah.
Right? It's not about me, it's about the service that I'm putting out there, regardless of how many years I've been in office doing this. This is my calling to serve the people.
Yes.
And I don't need my name on a building. That's just, again, it's just a perspective, right? But like I said, I go back. Other people in this day and age would prefer to recognize publicly the people who have done great service to community while they are still alive. Because at the end of the day, naming the building posthumously perhaps won't really do much for the person who has put in blood, sweat, and tears to make a change in the community, right? So yes, interesting one.
Yeah, very, very interesting. And I think just to kind of keep the conversation going and keeping it close to home on other controversies, it was on the headlines last night. It was the headline last night on the Belize Sugarcane Farmers Association lawsuit with BSI, and they have potentially lost. They have
they have lost.
They have lost.
There's a decision to appeal it, but the High Court has pronounced on it.
Right, and so now the question is, will the government now uphold their word to this issue, now them taking the fall for it if it went to court, if all of this happened, which it did. They have lost, and now we're asking the question of the government of Belize honoring their promise to the BSCFA, taking the fall for the lawsuit.
So we'll see where this goes, simply because you're only as good as your word, right?
Right.
And for the benefit of viewers who may not have been following what has transpired here, just a bit of a background. So in December 2021, there was a standoff between the cane farmers and the miller.
Right.
Right? And we've seen these bucking of heads quite often between the sugarcane farmers and BSI.
Yeah.
In this particular case, there was a blockade that lasted about 3 days or so. And during that period of time, BSI and its subsidiary, Belcogen. Belcogen is the one that produces the electricity and what have you, right? Good. So during this time, both of these entities are saying, well, we lost money. In one case, BSI was saying, well, we've lost over $1 million in what could have been revenues and what have you based on this particular action taken by the BSCFE.
Right.
And on the other hand, Belcogen was saying, well, we've also lost significant revenue as a result. In the case of Belcogen, the High Court is basically saying, look, but you never gone to your reserve fuel before you come with this claim and say you lost so much. So theirs was reduced to a little over $40,000 or $43,000 thereabout. And in the case of BSI, they wanted $1 million in damages, and the High Court have that. So they're getting $500,000, right? But the long and short of it is that the former president, circa 2021, was saying, well, we have the assurance from the government that should this matter go before the court as a lawsuit or a claim of some sort, that they would essentially foot the bill. So now here we are. $500,000 plus $40,000 may not seem significant. We've seen bigger monies being paid out and what have you. But the question is, will the Briseno administration keep its word? Right? It's been going on to 4 years later, right? We're at this particular juncture. Like I said, perhaps there's an option to appeal. I don't know what direction they will take.
I think that for this particular case, it would be good to get a statement from the PM, just because this particular promise was what kind of led to the negotiation to kind of simmer down. This promise was kind of what led to them saying, okay, the 3 days is over, we're going to resume back business as usual. But yes, we are going to wait to hear if the PM does give a statement. And yeah, we're going to see how we look at that particular story. But just to wrap things up, you came across a very interesting article last night, Isane, on the U.S. blocking the Taiwan president's visit to the countries on this side of the world that are still allies.
Yes, so Taiwanese President Lai Ching-te, and this has not been formally announced, right? But it has made headlines elsewhere, where they're saying that the Trump administration, in essence, prohibited Taiwanese President Lai from landing in New York as sort of like a transit point or a layover to Central America, where the president would have been calling on Paraguay, Guatemala, and Belize as the remaining 3 allies on this side of the world, right? But because of the ongoing trade negotiations between the United States and China, the U.S. basically told the Taiwanese president, well,
you can't land
you can't come through here until we fix the business with China, right? But that's interesting simply because the United States has always been or stood firmly behind Taiwan and its sovereignty. So this particular decision being taken by the Trump administration in some corners raises serious eyebrows, right? Is it now deferring to China as opposed to, remaining a close ally of Taiwan? What's the direction? But like I said, there is no formal announcement. Suffice to say that there has been a natural disaster that has struck southern Taiwan. And the president is focusing his attentions on the rebuilding efforts and what have you there, right? But again, on our radar from here, it's the first I would have been hearing of a formal visit by this particular Taiwanese president, right? I haven't seen anything from the government of Belize that says in the pipeline we expect a visit from the Taiwanese head of government or what have
Yeah,
you.
I think it's a good topic also to keep everybody in the loop in terms of the fact that there's still a tariff war happening, you know, and this particular headline kind of, you know, gives us more information as to what's happening between those superpowers. So I thought it was a very good thing to bring up. But just to wrap things up, we want to remind our viewers that KTV The Remix episode 4 of season 7 is on tonight, and it's all about R&B vibes. I know you're an R&B guy, so I know we're looking forward to that and more. So make sure that you tune in at The Bliss at 8 p.m. or right here live on GBM. But it's time we've got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we have an exclusive interview conversation with attorney Dickie Bradley all about the 13th Amendment. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios on Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Believe Media.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Next one.
I gotcha. Man, my house done.
Already?
Hey, the who that?
And welcome back. Joining us this morning for an extended conversation on the 13th Amendment is attorney Richard Dickie Bradley. He is no stranger to having discussions regarding states of emergency and issues involving Belizeans who may be disenfranchised by states of emergency. Good morning, my brother.
Morning.
Good morning and welcome to Channel 5.
GBM.
GBM.
We don't rebrand.
Greater
Greater
Belize
Media.
Media.
Before I say anything else, I want to congratulate Channel 5 on KTV.
Wow.
You're a fan?
It's bigger, no idea how was I there with books, but it's bigger than the 13th Amendment. I have tens of thousands of people. Can't wait till the news finish. The news, they got too long, and I need to cut the news and get to
I
the
don't know
show.
how I feel about that, and perhaps, and I'll be honest with you, right? As much as I respect our product, 13th Amendment is a national conversation.
It
Yeah,
should
but
take
for
Everybody should be
precedence.
eagerly
Yep.
anticipated to have respect to KTV, right? But this thing is a national discourse. Let's start with your position, your personal opinion on what is proposed with this 13th Amendment.
Well, my personal opinion doesn't really matter. I think what we should say is that,
Why does it matter?
I'll come to that part there, but what we should say is that this is probably the first time since independence in my lifetime that so many attorneys have come out from the two parties and others who are not aligned with any party to basically strike a warning that the 13th Amendment is not a good move. I don't think any of them were for it who attended the poorly attended consultation. The roots people, the street people, the regular people, the working class did not attend. It was mostly like NGOs and attorneys and so on. But major respect that they came out because lawyers are so conservative in our society. They're afraid to get into any kind of controversy. The first thing they think about is they'll probably lose a client or lose a potential client. So maximum respect to all of those who came out. And 2 Roman Catholic priests have expressed their public concern over this matter. That's huge. If anybody could dodge the bullet, it's the churches in Belize, but they have come out, man. This is big, you know, this is big because people who are educated are saying this just does not look right, sound right, or is not right.
You know what is the perceived public fear of this proposed piece of law? It's the fact that public confidence in law enforcement, particularly the Belize Police Department, has been waning for quite some time now. And you could imagine the kind of powers that the police officers would be able to wield if they decide that since any particular area in the city becomes a special area or a hot zone, so to speak, they could just come in there. And they're not going to be knocking and asking. They're going to be kicking down doors and pulling people out of their bed. Not that they haven't done so before, but now they can perhaps do so with impunity, carte blanche, so to speak. That's a fear that has been shared with me as a reporter.
Yeah. No, that is in fact the sentiment in the society. It shows that attention need to be paid to, especially in these times. You know, we have failed as a society to kind of protect our young generation from the violence that is so pervasive on American television. And that is the reality. The reality is that the other people who would be affected, you know, it's interesting that you say Belize City because this is basically a law for black people. This is a law against black people in Belize City. The other group of persons who would be affected would be the Mayas. There had been a proposal in writing, I have a copy, where the government is saying that they would change the law so they could pay the Mayas much less than what they would normally be entitled to if the government should decide, which they will decide, to take land to facilitate so-called investors, no? So it would be we Creoles on the south side mainly, and the Maya people deep in the south who would be pulled out and locked up. I have a big surprise for both of you and your viewers in relation to we keep saying like the any time between 1 month and up to a year. That's not what the law is saying.
Okay.
What?
It's worse than that. So, but let me start off, if I can, to say that, to try and keep it simple, because I think your show only goes for, it's much shorter than KTV, that the 13th Amendment is a proposal by the politicians who are currently the government to do 3 major things. There are lots of other things in there that is disturbing, but we can't throw a lot of information on your viewers and listeners. We need to stay focused on the bigger things. So there are 3 major things that this law wants to do. 4 to be exact, because this is not just a law. This is going to be forced into the constitution of the nation, and then once it is in, it is unassailable. Can't go try fight it in court. You can only fight any attempt to go outside of what it is. So the first thing is these politicians are going to put inside the Belize constitution some things which are alien to a constitution, some things which are not to be in a constitution. So let's start there. 3 major things. There is the proposal to have a to have something similar to a state of emergency, which comes with the full effect of what you just mentioned, empowering the police to pick up citizens and to take them straight to jail. This is the most frightening thing. I'll come back to that. So that is one, that the police can make up a list, which they have done 18 times since 2018.
Yeah.
Make up one list. Lee boy, 14 years old, 16, people who under the law are minors, and go with them and carry them straight to jail.
Yeah.
So that is one. The other thing they want to do is they want to, somebody come up with a bright idea and make you have a gun court and a gun court at the same time. So they want to put into the constitution that there's no going to be a gun court in Belize. And then the third one is unheard of, that any person who was grabbed up, herded into the back of pickups and bus and all over the place, including women, by the way, and taken to jail, none of them cannot go to court to get a little justice against the police.
Beyond a particular date that has been set. So
no, because you see what is happening. Don't make that date trick you. That date, the 26th of last month or what, May, is there because they will no longer be using SOE. They'll be using special areas, so you can't sue for something when not happen again. So, plus they dare not say that a court decision which has said that the SOE, as it is applied by the police and the government, that is unconstitutional and you have violated the rights of your citizens and you must pay for it.
How do you respond to Minister Musa and AG Sylvester? They were here last week on the couch talking about this, saying that they're both attorneys. They both have been on the other side of this particular argument already, and they're basically asking the public to trust them, trust us that we are doing the right thing. How do you respond?
Well, I think the law should not be based on trust. I think your colleague has just said that the trust level in our society is on a downward trajectory, and there's no sign that it will not continue to go on. I could just take 2 examples. There has been a fatal stabbing in Kikaka, tiny little beautiful Kikaka, by 2 police officers. Many eyewitnesses and videotape exists showing that it's the police that had knife. One of the police with a knife stabbed a young man 3 times or 4 times in his side. He had to be taken to the clinic. Another one has been cut across the neck. His friends have said, boy, he has gone on the television, so he had been stabbed by the elbow and cut across the neck. The third person has lost his life. This is a big thing. The chairperson, the chair lady in Kikaker has put out a public release, which is very condemnatory of the police. And it's not just that incident. She's saying that what's going on? You people are applying brutality to the villagers. And this is not peculiar to Kikaka. So you have that, and guess what? Nobody has been arrested and charged. That not just happened day before yesterday, you know. Nobody arrested. They are eyewitnesses, they are video. In fact, the narrative had been flipped. The police are the good guys and Sudman, the civilians are the bad guys. And then you have this outrageous, unacceptable shooting of a grandmother and her disabled grandson in the sanctity of their homes. This is like, I mean, there have been a couple of incidents which have come close to being outrageous. But this has crossed the line, way, way past the line. The situation is that at minimum, the state should have put up a reward. $20,000 leading to the arrest and conviction of whoever involved in that. There must be a public vow that, like Chester would say, no stone will be unturned until we get our people who are either suspect or... That is not acceptable, so not a peak about that. In fact, when it happened, they use the emotionalism to try and say, no, this is why we need the 13th Amendment. Right. Listen, let that not pass us. We need to find those cold-blooded murderers.
So if this isn't a solution, if this 13th Amendment isn't a solution, what would you then propose be it? Because we've been doing investigations, the crime is getting worse. We're seeing not just it getting worse in a state of there are so many unlicensed firearm weapons, but they're becoming smarter in the ways that they conduct their criminal acts. So if this isn't the solution, what is?
Well, not because as lawyers we see a problem. This is the state. Michelle Obama had made a fabulous statement that when they go low, we will go high. We, the society, the nation, the government, even the police, we must not go low. We must not get down into the gutter and behave criminal ourselves. We must go high. Now, the government spokespersons have admitted that this so-called special area is not a solution. They're admitting it. It's not a solution. It's just to pause. It's just a pause we're looking for.
Reset button.
But we need a bigger discussion, public debate on what solutions are available.
So here we go, Dickie, right? From the advent of gangs in Belize, perhaps way back in the late 80s, early 90s, when gangs took root in Belize, successive governments have had issues trying to, quell the situation or keep a lid on gang violence. And it's safe to say that many, if not all of them, have failed in their attempt to, keep things together where that is concerned. And as a matter of fact, it's only gotten worse. We've seen the proliferation of firearms into this country. Seemingly can't stop that from happening. We've seen many organizations come and go in terms of them trying to work with these young men who are at risk, trying to prevent them from entering into gangs. The jury is out on whether those are really effective in the grand scheme, but the problem persists. And so maybe the government is looking at this as perhaps one step closer to meaningfully addressing that. Whereas on the other hand, you're having the public, the rest of society saying, look, it's very heavy-handed if you go in that particular direction. My question is, where do we strike a balance between being able to properly address this plague that is affecting Belizean society against the fact that it could be seen as draconian if we take a certain route?
Well, the citizens are wary, and rightly so, and we are not far from a situation where we will just give up and give in and do whatever needs to be done. Shoot them down, ask no questions, no investigation. Any shooting down that take place from July of 2026 up to the present is deemed to be lawful and so on. So that's where we are heading. Yeah. If you could hold that question so that my colleagues they don't scold me, let me just make some points in relation to the arguments for and perhaps a little against the 13th Amendment. The Constitution of Belize sets out a whole chapter, chapter 2, which uses words that say protection of fundamental rights and freedoms. And all, if not, well, most, 98% of the 17 or 19 rights that are listed in our Constitution, they are prefaced by the use of the words. I don't know where your camera is coming from, but you can confirm to me that you see the heading for chapter 2, protection of fundamental rights and freedoms, protection of your right.
Hold it up, Dickie, we'll zoom into it.
It will zoom in? All right, so yeah. It will speak for itself?
Just, yeah.
Just
okay, so your fundamental, these are fundamental rights and freedoms. These are not just some kind of additional thing to it. These are fundamental to a civilized society, to a nation which is ruled by law and is ruled by principles which are accepted across the civilized world. There was a time what Bukele is doing in Salvador, he would be a pariah. He would be shunned by other nations. He'd be condemned in the United Nations. The human rights arm of the United Nations would be visiting down there to find out the truth of what family members are saying that is happening to these people in that jail. But the new world we are living in, including now us, because you go and get me a constitution from Jamaica, Trinidad, Guyana, Grenada, Guyana, all these other islands that have come up through the British system and so. Find me in those constitutions that they have a provision that you could go and kick down door, grab people and carry them straight to jail. There is no such thing. You don't put that in a constitution. A constitution is there to protect your right to your freedom. In fact, that great constitution from America, they speak about your right to your life, your liberty. And the pursuit of happiness. So let's start with the fact that your liberty is so important. The supreme law of this land protects that right. In the chapters that I will focus on, which I won't want to spend a lot of time reading, let me start that section 18 and section 19 are in chapter 2. Those are the two ones that deal with the state of emergency.
Okay.
State of emergency is included in the fundamental rights and freedoms. But the difference is this. A state of emergency is in the Constitution. And it says clear what makes a state of emergency. Our country is at war. The country has been devastated by ravage is the better words, by earthquake, by some huge force that make getting up in the morning and going about your business highly unlikely. No shop can open.
So force majeure, you can't move beyond that.
I think you're speaking French, it's not Latin. Force majeure. You must do paralegal.
Forgive me.
So A state of emergency is provided for in the Constitution. It is not true to say that you're just merely tweaking it to come with the 13th. This is not a tweak. You know what this is? This is, and I'm sorry to say it because I support the government, but my man ever raised no fool pick. I don't support everything we they do. I'd be like, I don't want to use the word on television, but I'd be an educated Jack. You know what is the other word? Maybe name Jack, I have on pink, maybe Jenny. Jenny is Jenny, yeah.
Here's my thing, Dickie.
But hold for me. Hold for me. The court in Belize has ruled that the manner in which the government, blue and red, the two biggest gangs that we have in the nation, who have brought us to a state of ruin. We are broke and poor still yet from 1981 when we became independent. We just scrounge on every day just to try and live, my boy. And what they have done is to misuse and abuse the provision in the Constitution that when there is a state of emergency, we are restricted by what we can do. They have been abusing that from 2018. We have been crying out and saying you can't use that to do what you're doing. Something is wrong in a civilized society when you could just pick up people and carry them in jail. So what they're doing, Isani, is they are making out another type of thing like the state of emergency. Because they dare not use that again because the court will strike it down and they have to pay more money. So then they come with special areas, which is just what they were doing under the state of emergency when they were not supposed to do it from the very beginning. So let's start with that provision. Secondly, if you bear with me, Section 5 of the Constitution is the one that deals with your personal liberty. And I need to emphasize a point because we see it and hear it every day. Section 5 says, among other things, any person who is arrested or detained upon reasonable suspicion of having about to commit a criminal offense and who is not released, any person who is detained or arrested on the suspicion that you are going to commit a crime or you have committed a crime and who is not released shall be brought before a court without undue delay and in any case not later than 48 hours. That is the only provision. The Constitution of Belize, like all civilized nations, have provisions. You can't detain a person, you can't arrest a person.
You have 48
but
hours to bring a charge and bring them to the court.
You can't pick up people and carry them to a police station for 48 hours and let them go. You have violated.
You will admit though that
no, I will not admit.
You will accept then that has happened in the past where officers pick up people who they suspect.
Which in the past that they happen right
still
now.
Happen. Yeah. All right, fair enough. Officers pick up people who they suspect are involved in certain criminal acts, bring them up to the 48-hour point, let them go for 5 minutes, go back and grab them, make them serve another 48 and so on and so forth, which is a gross violation of that.
Well, the first one is a gross violation. The lawyers in our group have been suing and going to court, and the courts have been slamming the government with judgments paying 20,000, 30,000 to pick up people and get in a station. How can you do that? How is it the Constitution, the guarantee that we have our liberty and our freedom, and you could come along and pick me up and carry me down a station? And this is happening right now. Anybody go and check the police station, people are in there who are going to be released without a charge.
Let me go ahead quickly. So, here's my question, Dickie. So, this proposed amendment is on the table, particularly to address a rogue group of young men in our Belizean society who do not form the majority of us Belizeans, right? But should this become law and enshrined in our constitution, the majority of Belizeans are now subjected to this thing.
It's like the good
so it would seem on the face of it severely lopsided that I have to fall under the same umbrella where then they try to use to contain a group of young men who, for all intents and purposes, seem ungovernable.
Not to mention the profile.
What is your take on that?
Well, Sani, the situation is we're coming back to the questions both of you were asking earlier. What is the alternative? What is the solution? Because the government is admitting that that is not a solution. So can we just hold that thought? Because I need to make one other point. The government is saying, why are you worried and concerned and frightened about this? One of the studies Dickie would spread fear and not so that all the liars. I'm very impressed with certain persons. I want to say Glenfield Dennison, who is the elected representative of the Trade Union Congress of Belize. Thousands of public officers and teachers, nurses, and the people that Jesus has referred to as the salt of the earth. The ordinary people are the salt of the earth. They are the ones that keep the thing going. That he has come public. That is unheard of. You know, that man is a crown counsel. He's a prosecutor. He's actually the representative. He's the king's prosecutor of these semi-colonial laws. And he has come forward and said, excuse me, why are you coming with this thing here when you already have it? The Crime Control and Criminal Justice Act has all these things that they're saying. Go into areas, lock them off, take out, search, take things, seize things. The other day we had a auction. I think they were boasting that it's like 900 on motorcycle. 900 on motorcycle, you know. Police take your car. Go right now to Queen Street, go look there. Pack up with people, private vehicle. Police officers take your phone and then go in there and watch all the picture with you and your partners and your intimate. Then look for all the things. They even send it out and share it with their colleagues. Even though the Constitution said that your private correspondence is protected.
So nobody is holding these persons accountable.
No, you can't because of the roots people. They're not going to go grab some higher person and go take away their phone and go in there. They are not. They don't only lose their job. They kind of lawsuit they and get there and they owe till they're dead. So it's just the poor people who are taken advantage of. So let's make that other point here. That they already have a law for all the things when they want to put in the Constitution. Let's read two things from the law. One is, the Honorable Minister is saying that this is very important because they know it's not the minister who will be signing anything or what. There's going to be some word for
the national security.
Some shadowy agency.
The NSC will convene and determine.
Of which the politicians are the chairperson and the politicians, they sit there. And then you have Coast Guard, Army and police. You think if the police say like, man, I need 6 months.
So you're saying in essence then that the political directorate would still have the primary influence in terms of determining it.
Listen, let me read it. Section 12, where the minister has reasonable grounds to believe that in the interest of public safety or public order or for the purpose of preventing or detecting crime, it is requisite so to do, he may by order publish in the Gazette with the concurrence of the Crime Control Council declare that the provisions of this part shall during the force of the order so on so on. Then they have the same thing when they want to come to. So there is a Crime Control Council. I want to tell your viewers and your listeners, the Crime Control Council is made up of 14 members appointed by the Prime Minister, the Minister of National Security or his rep, the Attorney General or his rep, a Justice of the Supreme Court, the word justice means judge, the Director of Public Prosecution, the Chief Magistrate, the Commissioner of Police, a representative from Ministry of Human Resources, a person nominated by tourism industry. How tourism gets in that? But crime affects tourism, it's a big thing. A person nominated by the Council of Churches, a person nominated by the NGO, a person nominated by the Bar Association, representative by the business community, and one person from a body bearing the name Crime Advisory Board, and a person nominated by the leader of the opposition. They have not appointed a crime control. They don't appoint this council. It's been the law from 1994. The law provides that you have all these high-ranking people whom the minister has to have their agreement before he can declare any area. It's right here in the law. Neither the red gang nor the blue gang has used the law
All right.
appoint and do
I
the
was
thing.
just
don't
about to
know
go
if
there.
this
Yeah,
can work or
hold your
not.
thoughts. So now
So they
they want,
skirted that altogether, even though it's in
It's
the
there.
books, for
Yes.
them to be able to put this body together and then make a decision.
yes. So to say that this law is going to be much more of a higher level because now the Security Council, some shadowy group of these people don't know that the Security Council now has to agree. There's a body better than the Security Council. It's made up of a wide cross-section of the people in our society. True, there is no youth there. Actually, Langford would be very annoyed when she hear that we don't have young people represented and they are the majority in the country.
Yeah.
But the point is, the law is saying the same thing they want to say. Yeah, that's very important. So that is one area. I want to read the law and tell you what they want to do.
Okay.
And then we could look at the gun court and we could look at this thing where we can't go to court. How did you know I want to be respectful on your television show?
Please be.
No, I don't want to be, I will be. I want to tell you, or rather your viewers, actually I am speaking to the cabinet. It's they I'm disappointed. We are disappointed too in the Deputy Prime Minister for allowing something like this to come out. Let's not miss this point.
That his
This-
constituency is
Well,
very
even
much...
worse, but that's even worse. But I'm saying he's Deputy Prime Minister. That's it for the whole country.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me make this point here. This has already been drafted, you know, without consulting anybody.
That was gonna be
Without
my
him going to I said putative, I don't want to use no word because I got the education. But the people who would have made up the current, they don't consult nobody, no lawyer, no nothing. The law done job. Worse. Look at this page here. Gazetted since the 31st of May. It's done in the Gazette long time. Worse.
So
It has been tabled in the House of
So
Representatives.
isn't it putting the cart before
No,
the
this
horse?
is going ahead to hell with Uno, are we?
Yes, hear me out. Isn't it putting the cart before the horse that they would take this action, then now have a series of public consultations
No
to get
series,
feedback?
the two are in, one that believes and one that
Belmopan.
or well in Belmopan because it's more convenient. That's it, you know. They're not going to tell the Maya people nothing at PG. They're not going to talk to the Garinago that stand quick. They're not going to talk to the Mestizo up north.
But it's a piece of law that once amended does not only affect Belize City people or Belmopan as it were.
Yeah, it
it's
affects
entire
everybody.
country that stands to be affected by this. Should they declare any part of the country as a special area?
So then the public opinion of me not going to a public meeting because it doesn't matter, they're going to do their own thing anyway.
They're going ahead. They don't have nothing else to offer the country. This is a shocking situation, you know, that you have a population nearing 400,000. Nobody to consult them. When I went to, just out of my Creole curiosity, I went to the consultation. I was not surprised that nobody can. But what struck me is, my boy, this here is an opportunity to go and speak to people. Speak to the people. When you want a vote, you not only talk to them, you put on money in their hand. Speak to them. What is the problem you have on Partridge Street? Is it lighted up? Is it cleaner area? Listen, I deliberately drive around a whole area this morning on my way here. The grass, I put in one spell, I was so stupid, I put my hand just to get a measurement and mosquito bite me up. The grass is 2.5 feet out of the drain. We are in a hurricane season, for goodness sake, and the drains can't function. This is how bad it is. The problems around us are in front of all our eyes. You can't. Why we have these abandoned yards full up of garbage, full up of rat, and full up of rat the run out that day? Rats are nocturnal creatures. They wait till night, then they come out that day. All over this beautiful city of ours, you like, we are a product of our environment. You know, if you don't want shitty area, you don't turn shit. Okay, so let me read this part here.
Yeah.
I could take a quick commercial break.
You want to cut me off?
No, we're going to come back with you.
No. We'll take a commercial break and we'll be back. It's been an interesting conversation. We have more to come after this commercial break.
Fulltech Systems understand that technology isn't just a tool, it's a game changer. At home, smart devices and AI are revolutionizing daily life. In education, tech is making learning more interactive and accessible for students and educators alike. For businesses and government, it's driving innovation, streamlining operations, and unlocking growth, leveraging tech for better services, infrastructure, and security. At Fulltech Systems, we help you thrive with cutting-edge solutions, partnering with leaders like Dell, HP, Microsoft, APC, Fortinet, Cisco, and Tomy. We deliver the right products for your needs, whether it's boosting efficiency, improving customer engagement, or scaling operations. Connect with us and let's drive innovation together. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you come for the price, but stay for the service.
As an athlete, orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is a lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
And welcome back. We are continuing our conversation with attorney Richard Dickie Bradley. We're discussing the 13th Amendment and all the concerns that the Belizean citizenry has with respect of this proposed piece of law. Let's continue, Dickie. So we're talking about the fact that so much can potentially happen once this thing is made law and is ratified, right? But we haven't heard from certain corners in our society. We haven't heard from the Bar Association for a proper position on this. Show? We haven't heard from the churches. You mentioned that at the previous consultation held at the Swift Hall, two priests came and they witnessed and perhaps participated. But we haven't had a formal position from the churches at all. And I'll be honest with you, and this is perhaps just me sharing my position on it. I'm not surprised. The churches have always been shy when it comes to dealing with real issues affecting Belizean people. Just my personal position on that. But this is a conversation that you should have the input of everybody across all stratas of Belizean society. But we're not having that. You went to a point earlier where you said public consultation was poorly attended. But perhaps to be fair to the issue, I've never seen, and I may be wrong, I've never seen a public meeting where hundreds of Belizeans flock to this venue to have their voices heard. It's almost easier for them to say, I'll just post something on Facebook and I'll move on with my life, as opposed to taking the time out of their day or night if it were held in the evening to come out and voice their opinions on the 13th Amendment.
We don't have that culture. I have, against my against my own knowledge, I've brought 2 books to share with your viewers. We don't have that conversation. We're not. That's why I want to big up Channel 5 for KTV. That's a huge thing, my boy. People come and pack up in the Bliss Auditorium. Physically, they're in there. You will have to move to Marion Jones Stadium in the not too distant future. I would want to urge you all, do it with playing a musical instrument, do it with reciting and reading your poetry works. The Turton Library, 1 day a week, right by Swing Bridge, they promote these young poets who come up. Sometimes I wait at stand quick, I'm kind of breaking the speed limit. I want to be there by the time it starts. It's exciting to hear what the young people are writing about. Love, I was going to say sex, but you know that have to come in, no? But so that is usual. But they're writing about current issues and things that are of interest to the young generation. That is not something that used to happen. That's a thing that the television station need to promote to our people. Books, you can have books. So you are saying to me, people don't come out. They used to come out, Isani. One reason they don't come out is the sake of the crime, and the same police who want to stop and search them and rough them up and treat them so disrespectfully. There's a footage going around. I'll send it to you when I finish here. Then he kneel down for a man by his neck and kneel down for now. Got on like, you know, like when you go on up on the street and you kneel down on the neck. Whatever trouble you give, you don't choke hold people anymore. We know that that is too dangerous. Don't grab people on the neck and squeeze it. And you don't do that. Somebody said that boy needs George Floyd. Yeah. So all right, so they don't, but that is why in Sani we do live in a modern society. That is why until we could regain back the trust. Can I tell you why people don't go under that consultation? They don't know that they're going, then okay, whatever say. You want to do what you want, it's done. They are
so
only going and listen to the
it's a foregone conclusion?
Yes, yes. The only thing is that the Constitution says that when you are attempting to make any change to it, you must give a period of 90 days so that your citizens can be properly informed. They're just waiting for the 90 days to be over.
So this back and forth with the public,
it means nothing to them.
So then what can we do then?
Well, I'm not the person to ask that, because then I have lived my life and I have burned down places in the city and I have, you know, get myself in trouble. My programmer cry when they carry me a station. So I'm not the person, because I will advocate some drastic matters. Belize need a big shake-up, you know, April. Belize need a real shake-up, you know.
Here's my question to you though, Dickie. As an attorney, you have also represented people who, for all intents and purposes, are known gang members too. Some of these very same individuals who have been swept up in a state of emergency, and perhaps rightly so, they've been involved in gang violence, criminality, and you name it. So wouldn't you find yourself, in a sense, conflicted?
Why you fire a shot there at me?
I just have to put it on the table.
Let me start at the top. Every person in this country, when they are accused of a crime, they are entitled to be treated fairly and justly.
And to legal representation.
And they're entitled if they can afford it. The vast majority of people don't come. People who they get in and then low level crime don't got no money for God and no lawyer. Don't let it be the impression that all of them they get lawyer and then going on. Only a handful of them, you know. Because you're entitled to that, man. Because if you accuse me of something, you prove it. And if a person feel I'm not able to go into court and defend myself, then go scrape up any money and they go to lawyers. How the big man, how when they take State Bank Island and so don't they go for their lawyers? How we have a situation in this country where how we have a situation.
But this seems to be
come to
more
my
of
mind.
So
come to my mind. I put this as like quick as I can. The previous gang, they, represented by their highest alcalde, they went to a hotel in Miami and agreed with the owner of BTL to pay over $500 million in secret. Our money, the taxpayers' money. I understand from those who know that the central bank, the nation's economy wobble when they make that check there. $500+ million. We don't stop there. The current government agreed, and the media have a duty to we the citizens and taxpayers of the country to get behind the Freedom of Information Act and if necessary go to court. Who all sat in a meeting for the representative of the owner and got the government to pay hold on.
You're digressing from what I was asking.
Yes, but I want to get this point across to you. Yeah? $200 million you will pay down the year, bro. And a further $200 million towards settlement of lawsuits. When you add that up, you're talking about, if you count the 90 million that was paid when the new government came in with the old government cards, you're talking about over $1 billion or something. There are lots of money that has been paid. Nobody has been held accountable for nothing. Who did at a meeting for agree that we could take millions of dollars and pay it out? So you are saying, oh boy, they managed to get out of trouble, kick down and door and grab them and carry them in jail. And I want to read the provisions for you right now. But crime is bigger than that, true? Then kind of economic crimes are what is causing the problem in the ghetto. That people can't get a house, they can't get skills training, they can't live in good environment. So it's so easy to scapegoat everybody.
But that's from an economic perspective, and I can respect that, right? I'm asking you, don't you find yourself morally conflicted when you look at a situation where the state is trying its best, perhaps, to be able to address a particular issue, in this case, crime and violence and what have you, but you're also representing some of the very same people who are perpetrators of crime and violence in the face of what the government is trying to do with this piece of law? Don't you find yourself a bit on, you know?
I'm showing you that the government itself is engaged in some of the biggest crimes against the people of the country. That's why I'm trying to make that connection to you. How the lawyer represents all them wealthy people, they buy up. Can I tell you something? There is no whistleblowers law in this country, which is important for us as a young democracy. There is no political campaign financing law in our country. There has been absolutely no attempt to reform the Ministry of Lands, where you all as journalists here. Listen, one sitting Prime Minister said that is a cesspool of corruption, or a hotbed of corruption, or some such word. We are not about making our society better, you know, everybody they can feed, you know, words of the immortal Chef Ramon, that just feed us, it's getting worse.
So if
when that happens, you are disenfranchising the rest of the population, because we are not Saudi Arabia, we're not the washing of money and so. Limited funds, and it's going in one direction. You know what, the union leaders have shared some information with me, which, you know, I really should let it out on your TV show, but we're not here for that. I just wanted to say, if a man comes to me, or a woman comes to me, and let me deal with the woman part, I have defended several women who have stabbed and killed their spouse or their lover because they could no longer live in terrorism within their house. How they beat them, stamp them, drag them around the place by their hair, tell them all kind of things, front and them picnic, over and over and over again. They can come to me. I'll not charge anything to defend them. They're entitled to that. A person comes to you, Isani, and says that, Dickie, man, chance my boy, man, just grab me up and carry me and charge me for gang member. You know me better than that. And, where your paper? When you look, they have nothing against the man. Now let me jump ahead of myself to say this part here. I owe it to the system to say. The suggestion being made to the society, to our country, in order to justify putting this in the Constitution, is that, well, we need a gun court and we need a gun court because they got like 150 cases where just they languish in the court system, and the magistrate can just charge on this small money when the penalty that so much years in jail and so. That is so unfair to the magistrate. And listen why it's worse, because it's the very ministry which is responsible for the police. It's the police who are the prosecutors. The magistrate no have a
conflict of interest.
The prosecutors take the case to the court and will say that, when the magistrate says, how the week look? I said, Your Honor, we are continuing this case today. Tomorrow we'll start this one. It's the prosecutors who decide when the case is tried. How can you blame the magistrates for that? These people who are working so hard, every minute they get sick because of mole in the court on Coney Drive. How can you even make any kind of comparisons? It is your ministry which is responsible for that delay.
So there needs to be reform.
This is terrible, you know. This is really unacceptable, and they owe an apology to the magistrates to try and indicate to me that we want to put in a gun court in the Constitution. Which court more important than the family court? Is the family court in the Constitution? You mean they can't just get another Belizean magistrate and say, hey, concentrate on these two things? Ask the chief magistrate, Can we juggle the magistrates and start to make some? It's the very people who are using their own laxity and negligence, using that as an excuse to interfere with the Constitution.
But the rationale is that
what?
The rationale is, as far as what was shared here on the couch last Tuesday, is that these types of courts exist in other jurisdictions. Much similarly, if you have other matters, there are specialized courts that deal solely in those particular cases.
We talk about Belize. We talk about 8 magistrates on Coney Drive and the magistrate in every district town in this country. I don't care what they do at Salvador. I don't care what Trump they do in America. We care what they happen here. We need to find out. And since you want to talk about other countries, well, then you just tell me about Jamaica and their gun code, which has been there from the middle 70s. You want to import something from abroad? Tell us how effective that has been. Why don't, as Leslie Mendes has pointed out on Creme Television, why don't you have an indicum? Why you make and I want to use the word on your television, of us by having the police investigating themselves. In Jamaica, there's a statutory body, indicum, it's an independent investigating arm. When the police do wrong, you can't go to the scene. You know that, let me tell you this. I could tell you 1,000 stories. Let me tell you this one. And I'll tell you 2. First, they went to search a house in Lake Eye. A granny and the granddaughter. They put their finger in the little grandchild's vagina. It's on the news, it was scandalous. They will do this, they will do that. Let me tell you another one. They go and search a house, the lady is in her bed naked because it's hot and she's a bit fat. They march her out with gun out of the bedroom, they go sit down in the sofa with the children. They cry, can't take it. They come to me and tell her, Mom, who tell you if you go to any professional branch, they mislead you. Nothing will come out of it. No, Mr. Dickie, just please go with me, make a complaint because he chance me, I feel so shame in front of me. Nothing come out of it, my boy. Nothing will come out of it. How long we don't have that foolishness that the police investigate themselves? With all, you all have, and I thank you all because when people bring their story, you all do care some of these stories so that we could have an idea what is going on in the country. Listen, it is not highly unusual that there are rogue police officers who just abuse the fact that they have a police uniform on. It happens in the United States. It happens everywhere. Yes, so you must have what Syed Musa had when he was Prime Minister. 0 tolerance for abuse of your authority as a police officer. 0 tolerance. You can't do it in our police department. You do it, you're gone. And if you do it to an extent where you commit a crime, you will be charged for it. And if you do something because the government will have to pay, you will be surcharged and have to pay back.
But the very people
there
that
are problems in our society, man.
The very people that these issues affect are not going to come out in public and talk about it. So we're basically, you know, a chicken without its head running around.
All right,
how can we quell the situation? How can we as citizens, because we went out to the streets, we asked them what do they know about the situation, what do they know about the 13th Amendment. A lot of them don't know. A lot of them don't understand what it will do to them. In fact, a lot of people don't even know what's in this Constitution. They don't know their rights. They don't know half of the time that they can that they could fight some of these police that have violated their rights before.
What a sad commentary that
goes both ways though, right? Because part of it rests with the citizenry to be able to educate itself.
No, they
right?
can't do that.
Part of it also rests with the state in terms of being able to create the kind of public awareness where people understand what they're attempting to do. That's how I look at it. Because I say ignorance to lie is no excuse, right? So you have to be able to educate yourself on something that can affect you. In much the same way that the persons who are going to enforce it should educate you as to what it is that can happen as a consequence.
And hold themselves accountable to the law as well that they're serving.
This is 160 odd pages. You can't ask the people to educate themselves. Yeah?
That's not a tall order to ask someone to read 160 pages.
We read newspaper, we tackle this.
That's a half a day read.
That's not a tall order to ask someone to familiarize and acquaint themselves with the laws that govern this country.
No, this is only one law. There are hundreds and hundreds of laws. But no, when we do that, what we're doing is that we do not appreciate what the Bible has taught us. It is that some of us are shepherds and we have a responsibility to lead the flock. You know, the reason why I have plotted this is because I brought one of my favorite authors. This book is a must read. I want to ask all my friends who are in the teachers union, please, every teacher should know Animal Farm and they should make sure that all their students know Animal Farm. And what does Animal Farm tell us?
That not all animals are equal.
My goodness, no. They were taught that all animals are equal.
But the moral of the story is that not all
some
animals
are more equal than others. That is the
I don't
problem.
think they put that in the schools anymore, if I'm honest.
That would be the saddest thing of all. Not to be in a school for you to benefit from knowledge and wisdom. But one of the lessons in here in Animal Farm is just like 98, it's just 98 pages. You know, you're saying 160, you could lash that out easy. Listen, one of the lessons is this. This is the saddest thing about Animal Farm. One of the lessons is that they had their constitution and they painted it on the barn in big letters. The animals who could not read, they go and ask the ones who can read to read it for them. And when they thought there was something kind of funny, they asked them, let's go and read the constitution for me. So I'll give you two examples of what happened, why these poor people have been sold out in a country which is this country that, like, God bless women. When last any of you had a chance to go to Half Moon Key? It's like a piece of heaven broke off and dropped in that part of the water. Especially if you're there when the turtles come up to lay their eggs.
But the foundations of this society were already messed up from the very beginning. We made those a long time ago. We haven't fixed it.
That's a philosophical position.
That's more on the histories of the way that we've created laws on a colonial
But so let me tell
society.
you, Animal Farm. So
the good George Orwell?
The one and only. In one instance, I think like on Saturday night, they hear nice and raucous because the pigs, who are the politicians that take over the farm, the pigs go and they sleep in what used to be Farmer Jones's house, and then they're in a house. And so somebody will peep in through the window one time, you know, Creole, we will go peep and see where they go on. When they go on, guess what's going on? Pigs then cock off in a bed. And the animals, they know that one of the constitutional rules is no animal shall sleep in a bed. So they rush the back and tell them, read it, no animal shall sleep in a bed. They had a 13th Amendment with sheets. So you could sleep in a bed, but you know, if you have sheets. The worst one is knives and quarrel and things to go on. When they go on, guess what? The pigs, they block up. They got bad money in their hand, they drink on street side, block up. They go and they check the constitution. No animal shall drink alcohol. 13th Amendment, gazetted the 31st of May, to excess. So you could drink alcohol, no longer. They changed the constitution, they changed the rules on the animals, and ended up that those poor animals, like most Belizeans, struggle to survive, to raise their children, and to try and have a better life, while they live the fabulous life upon us. That is the lesson that is one of the lessons of Animal Farm. So let me read this to you because time will catch me.
It doesn't catch you.
Well, time will catch up with me. This is saying that an order made by the Governor General for the purpose and in accordance with this section shall, unless previously revoked, remain in force for a period not exceeding 1 month. That's the way we get this 1 month time from the government. They say, no, it have to be a month. It could just be 2 weeks and so on. Then it may be extended from time to time by a resolution passed by the politicians, this National Assembly is politicians, for further periods, plural, for further periods not exceeding, in respect of each of the extension, a period of 12 months. It is not 1 month to 12 months, you know. It is 1 month, and then the National Assembly can extend it for periods. 6 months this time, 9 months the next time, 12 months the next time. Long as each extension is not more than 12 months. It's not 1 year, it's on it. This thing is rolling over and over and over against the people, I believe. Can you imagine that? And they don't say that. You heard that at the consultation. You heard that once they start to lock you up, they could keep you locked up. And guess what? This is a good government we have. They not set out. You know, I had an experience just very recently. Joe Cowie, a man I hold in the highest of esteem, brilliant man, always reading, excellent analyst. He said he borrowed the 13th Amendment, the white paper, and he has the proposed amendments, and he has the Constitution, I believe, and he read it. And he was on a show with our brothers and sisters in New York, and with my own ears I hear him. Having read it, he said to a question from the American Belizeans, he said that I do not for a moment believe that the government is pushing this out of malice, out of malafides. I think you used a French word this morning, no? And it caught me by surprise. And I've thought about it. And it's true, the Prime Minister and the ministers in Cabinet are not doing this out of any malice towards me. They have been misled, wrongly advising to thinking that, why, lock them up, come with something we like, you know? That is what is happening here.
Perhaps we can end it on this note then, that the road to hell is always paved with good intentions, right?
True. Well, sort of hell with wine.
I don't know.
No, we are trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Dickie, it's been a
Thank
great
you so
conversation.
much for coming.
We're completely out of time.
Yes,
April, take it out
of
here.
course. And we got to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more Open Your Eyes. Don't go away.
The Mexican Caribbean, a whole spectrum of colors and hues, multi-dimensional cuisine, holographic beaches. The true new era is within you.
My name is Leomar Langzert, and I'm a teacher, and I bank with Belize Bank Independence Branch. What I enjoy is the safety features that the app offers. I have a sense of not having to worry or be concerned about somebody finding my password and username to sign in the application because of the use of the one-time password. And another feature that I love, that I use the most, is how the app synchronizes with my fingerprint on my device. I enjoy the rapid and easy, seamless process to apply for loans through the Belize Bank, and I don't have to be having too much back and forth to visit or take time to visit the bank. They also start to offer the online applications through the app for loan applications, which I believe is very neat. I would definitely recommend Belize Bank to other teachers because one of all the features and advantages that the app offer with these online that Belize Bank offered is basically everything that you can do in the palm of your hand. So I would definitely recommend the bank to other teachers.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix, Season 7, every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios in Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it! KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Yes, precisely that. Asani, you have money. And of course, if that didn't tell you, this conversation is all about revealing the new bank notes, the money notes from the central bank's new designs here in Belize. Of course, this is a conversation that we have long been awaiting. We knew it was coming, and the launch is almost here. So on the couch we have with me Carlette Johnson, and she's the assistant manager at banking and investment. Good morning, Carlette. And next to her is Miss Stephanie Bradshaw, and she is the content analyst at the Central Bank of Belize. Good morning. Good morning. And lastly, we have Mr. Delroy Rayburn, and he's the assistant manager and of currency management. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
We're rich. No,
Yes.
we have money. But you know, we've been having this conversation. We knew that this was long in the making. We have officially redesigned the currencies of Belize, and there was a lot of controversy, debate. There still is conversation of, oh my gosh, it's devaluing, etc., etc. But for our viewers this morning, what is the need to know about this historic launch?
Well, first of all, we are very excited to be here, and we have had many months of research and collaboration with historians, with design experts and currency security experts. And we, like you said, we revealed the designs back in January, and since then we've been, doing our public awareness campaign to make sure Belizeans are well prepared for this transition. And come August 4th, they'll be able to get it in their hands. And we're very proud of the designs. You'll notice some similarities from the new notes and some differences. And we are confident people will be as proud when they get it in their hands. You mentioned some controversy online. Actually, a lot of the people we have been interacting with, so the people who've come to the bank for trainings, the students we've done presentations with, etc., they've been excited. So yes, there've been some chatter online, but we have done our part with dispelling those myths. Yes.
So here we go, right? While I respect the fact that there has been perhaps a robust campaign to raise awareness about the introduction of these new notes, when we speak with the average person on the street, right? Part of our jobs as reporters are to have conversations with the layman, right? One of the prevailing thought that comes out of those conversations or those questions is the idea of devaluation. For some reason, Belizeans still have it in their mind that shifting from the old $100 bill with the Queen's face on it to a $100 bill with George Price's face on it means that this no longer holds the same value as the other, right? And I cannot say that it does not speak to the efforts that you guys have made. We admit that you guys perhaps have been on top of this thing from the beginning, but for some reason Belizeans don't seem to understand that nothing changes in terms of the monetary value of the note itself. How do you get this message across to everybody else who's of that opinion?
I'll pass this one to Carlette.
So I would like to jump in terms of the value, we want to assure the public that the value remains the same. So $100 in the old series, it's still $100 in the new series. And so I think one of the things that Belizeans are not aware of is that in terms of the image of the Queen on the note, there are certain protocols that are in place in terms of the monarch. And so when we had the passing of the Queen, we learned that you could not print currency notes with a date that has beyond the year that she had passed. So we had to date our notes back to 2022, which is the year that she has passed. That is not a recommended practice, right? So we have to inform the public that it's not a matter of whether we did not move to the current national heroes that we would have stayed with the Queen, because there are protocols against that. So yeah, I think we could tell them too that the central bank, the main mission of the central bank is to maintain monetary and financial stability. And so every day at the central bank, that is our function. We work towards that and it's embedded in law that our peg has to remain at $2 Belize dollars to $1 US.
I think it's also important for our viewers to understand what would devalue currency. It's not just by simply changing design,
yes.
right? There has to be global recession. There has to be a lot more global issues that would take place for us to devalue the currency that we have,
yes.
right? But I'm very excited to see that of course, we have our national heroes. Yes. We relate to the persons that are on the monies. What other features can you tell us that are on this that is different from the old design?
Right, well, there are some familiar features that the public will be able to recognize. If you look at the notes and you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see that they still have a watermark on the right side of the note. You'll also see that they have the 2 sets of serial numbers, one on the right side, one on the left side. And they also have a security thread. But what you'll notice is that the security thread is now enhanced. So if you look at the notes that we have right now, they all have the same security thread, which is that silver line down the note. But with these ones, the security thread are color shifting technology. So if you look at the lower denomination, you'll see that they have a thin security thread that goes in and out of the note. As you tilt it towards the light, you'll see the colors change.
Yes.
If you go to the higher denominations, so the $10 and up, those have a holographic foil stripe, which is a different type of security thread that also has color shifting technology. And we've also added another enhancement behind those notes, the $10, $20, $50, $100, where it has a thread at the back. So before, we didn't have any of our notes with a thread at the back. So those are some of the new features. Another feature that we're very excited about is for the first time we have a feature for the visually impaired. So if you look at all the notes, you'll notice some lines on the right and left sides of the note. That's called tactile marks. It's raised. So somebody that's visually impaired will be able to feel it and tell what. Yes.
It's not braille. It's not braille, but it's something similar to braille.
That is so
Yes, so if you notice the $2 starts with 1 line and then it goes up. The 5 has 2, the 10 has 3.
Yes.
Until it reaches the 100.
That is really neat.
So when the notes are new, you will feel it distinct, but as they wear, then you won't feel it as much.
Okay.
So we encourage the visually
careful
impaired to use the newer notes.
Okay.
There's also many features that you can't see with the naked eye. So if you use the tools that you have there, the UV light and the magnifying glass, you'll be able to see some of our UV features and some of the micro lettering on the notes.
My question has to do with the gradual phasing out of the existing family of notes, right? So that while these will come into effect on August 4th, it will take a few years before we phase out everything that's currently in circulation. Talk to us a bit about that process.
All right. The notes that are in circulation will remain legal tender, so we have no plans to demonetize. The public doesn't have to worry about the shops not accepting that currency. It's still legal tender. And what will happen on August 4th is that the banks and credit unions will no longer be issuing that version of the note. So as they get deposits from their customers, from businesses, they'll pass that on to the central bank and we'll remove those out of circulation. So yes, it might take a few years, but you'll see it gradually less and less because we will not be putting any more of those notes into circulation.
I don't know how I feel though.
What do you mean, Asani?
In the sense that while some people have transitioned to transacting cashless, some of us are still very, like myself, I'm an old school person, right? I prefer the thing in my hand, right? But it'll be a mental shift for me to walk around with one of this and presenting it to the cashier or the teller or whosoever I'm doing business with, considering the fact that for so long, arguably all my life up until this point has been with one set of notes that we've become so familiar with.
So what happened is Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth has been the longest reigning monarch. So like you rightly said, many people are familiar with her because she has been on our currency from 1950, right? But before her, it was the previous monarch that was on our currency, right? So it's nothing new to have the monarch on it. But now that she has passed, like I said, we need to to move on. And so internally there's a project team that was working on the currency design, and we felt that it was time that we started to honor our own Belizean heroes, to honor their life, their legacy, and their achievement, and so that's why we went that way.
I know that we've talked about the notes for quite some time. Are we shifting gears into coinage? Is that going to be the next steps?
Yes, we are looking at the coins right now. That project has just started. So for the same reasons we had to update the designs of the notes, is the same reason we have to update the designs of the coin. As you all know, the Queen is also featured on the coins, and because of her passing, we need to look at those designs. So we're in the very early stages right now. We haven't decided exactly, we haven't made the decisions when it comes to the official design, so that's still in progress, and the public should learn more about that sometime next year.
Okay, and we're just going to have from the 1 cent to the dollar. Is that going to be the same?
Same denominations.
Okay. You also brought some UV lights here. What are we supposed to be doing with these?
All right, so some of the security features on the notes are, you can only see them under a UV light. So if you hold the notes up and you flash the UV light on them, you'll be able to see those features. One of the feature is a UV image of the mahogany tree.
Yes,
that's on all the,
yes.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I see it.
Yeah. And you'll also be able to see some UV lettering.
In this case, it's the $50 specimen that I'm holding up.
Yes, you'll be able to see the
100,
50 there.
the 50.
You also see the black orchid at the bottom.
You see the orchids, the mahogany tree.
Yeah.
All right, bye bye.
Wow.
Yeah, we did see some comments about people saying that they did not see the orchid and the mahogany tree on the notes. They are right there. They're just
They are. It's a little hard to see on our camera. I'm trying, but it's but you see the 100.
You see
the 100. You see the 100 over the other 100 there. Also, I was looking at with the magnifying glass, and there's some features like if you use it, you see that it has like tiny little hundreds.
Yes.
Microlettering.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is.
I think
those are
perhaps
interesting.
these are all features to try as best as possible to thwart counterfeiting.
Yes, they're enhanced. Yeah, and we do want to point out, because these are new features, as a part of our education campaigns, we want the public to become familiar with these features, because when these new notes go into circulation, they need to remain vigilant. So that they're able to detect which notes are authentic. If any counterfeiters try to replicate the notes, then we need to be able to recognize that and to avoid losing any money.
But we also want the public to also, because like you said, the phasing out is going to take several years. So unfortunately for the public, you'll have to learn both security features, because you still have to be vigilant with the whole series until it gets phased out of circulation.
How are we having this type of, conversation with our diplomatic partners? I go to Chetumal and I want to change into my peso utilizing this type of money. They're aware of this particular exchange already?
So like I was mentioning earlier, our campaign started from right after we revealed the design, and we've been having trainings with multiple sectors, government agencies, insurance companies, obviously the financial institutions. We've had trainings or presentations with schools, I had mentioned earlier. So we've tried to check all the boxes. Like with the public, we've gone to like a Greek show, and after launch, so after August 4th, we will be embarking on our road show. So we'll be going to every district and having pop-ups to educate people again, to give them a chance to interact with the new notes. So we've been checking boxes. We've been going with, we know our stakeholders, and we've been interacting with them in different ways.
Well, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As of August 4th, you go to your ATM and you're going to get a crispy Jaji Blue note. That is what you're getting. But thank you all so much, and we hope that you will be continuing your campaign and you'll be here on the couch again soon. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more Open Your Eyes.
ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7, every Tuesday night at 8, live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios in Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Belize Media.
Hi there. Are you on your phone right now, scrolling on social media, listening to the radio, or watching TV? Have you ever stopped to think, what's powering my device right now? You see, electricity is essential for everyday life, powering our homes, businesses, transportation, and of course, that one binge-worthy series that you just can't stop watching. But how does it all work? This season on the What's and Why's of Energy, we're taking you behind the scenes, bringing you the latest updates and answers to your biggest energy questions. My name is Emmanuel Petch, and I invite you to join us as we go live on Facebook and get ready to see energy in a whole new light. Like, share, and follow us to be part of the conversation.
Belize Electricity Limited, providing you safe and reliable power when you need it.
Welcome back. We are here with members of the Anglican Diocese Church. You have a spectacular weekend of fundraising and activities that we should be looking forward to. Yes. So joining us this morning, we have Bishop Philip Wright. Good morning. And we have Miss Audrey Andrew Meggs. Good morning. And Dr. Claude Stewart. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, good morning.
So next weekend,
April.
Yes.
Good to be here.
Good
Thanks
to be here. Good to have you here. Yes. Thank you for having us. So next weekend, you are all embarking on a 2-day activity fundraising. Why is it that the Anglican Diocese needs to fundraise? What is the purpose?
You know, as I say, grace may be free, but it still costs.
Everything costs.
By the way, before I forget, please know you're invited to both events. Right?
Thank you.
Yes, it's going to be we believe, an exciting weekend for us. One of it is 2 events really. One is the fundraiser, dinner dance on the 9th at the Biltmore. Only a contribution of $100, that's all, for a fun evening, and they will talk a bit more about that. But on the Sunday, the 10th, is our Diocesan Family Day. And if I may just give a quick little background as to
Sure.
You may be aware that the Anglican Church has been in this part of the world, possibly going back to the late 17th century. Certainly in the middle of the 18th century, there was mention of the Anglican presence. Of course, we would have come with the British expansion, the colonial expansion. By 1776, we had our first priest or missionary. By 1812, we were laying the foundations for the historic cathedral, St. John's Cathedral. And by 1883, on the 10th of August, 1883, we became a diocese, which means we could have our own bishop, our own constitution, and in a sense, govern ourselves. For a while, we remained under the jurisdiction of Jamaica. So the Bishop of Jamaica for a while was still the Bishop of Belize. But that all changed following 1883. And so on the 10th of August, or the Sunday closest to the 10th of August every year, we try and celebrate when we became a sort of independent diocese. One year we would bring everybody from across the country into one location. We've been to Dangriga, we've been to Belmopan, to Corozal. This year we're coming back to Belize City. Years outside of that, we would invite the different congregations from around the country to do their own celebration in their locale. So one year we bring everybody together, otherwise you do your own thing. And it's meant to be a day of worship and thanksgiving, of course, but also just fun. And so there will be games for the children, lots to eat and drink, and prayer time if you want, a little prayer and counseling, and just a fun day. With worship, yes, but the rest of the day will be fun. And finally, I'll say quickly, for those who are, we will assemble at St. Mary's Church at around 7:38 on the 10th, Sunday morning, for a parade through the streets from St. Mary's to All Saints. I Googled it, it's less than a mile, so
It's
that's
very
a pretty good Sunday morning exercise. And then we hope to be by All Saints by around 9:30. The service starts at 10, and there will be a fun day of activities. So that's just to get people to know what is going to be happening. Now, on the 9th, the night before, and my good friends here will speak to that, but I just want to quickly, as a segue, also when we look at that history, the Anglican Church was really the first to move into education. Records will indicate that as early as 1807, there was a small elementary school. We don't know much about it, but by 1816, the Anglican Church, remember in those days there was a relationship between church and state that was quite close, started what was called the Honduras Free School. And it had only a grand total of 12 children from the formerly enslaved. And that's what started us, and in a sense provided in some ways a model for what we now have, this partnership between church and state in education. And, you know, you have people who have their different views on that, but you can trace some of it back to that. And of course, once we entered education, we started to have primary schools and so on. Eventually we had 2 high schools, St. Michael's and St. Hilda's. They came out of a school that the Methodists and Anglicans once shared, St. George's, in the 1930s and early 40s and so on. And when St. George's came to an end, Wesley College was formed, St. Michael's for boys was formed, and St. Hilda's was brought along. And in 1982, St. Hilda's and St. Michael's became the Anglican Cathedral College, which is where we are today. And FSADB, the president and vice president are here, and FSADB, as they will talk more about it, means Friends Supporting the Anglican Diocese of Belize. And they have a long history going way back, and they can speak a bit to that now and to
the gala.
The gala, which is maybe the more exciting thing for some people.
Yes, okay. Well, Miss Audrey?
Hi, I'm the Vice President of Friends Supporting the Diocese of Belize. I don't know if Dr. Claude want to tell more about the history, but we've been in existence since 35 years. Bishop Desmond Smith asked a bunch of Anglican members, teachers, and graduates. I'm not a teacher, I was a graduate of St. Hilda's, to start this group with efforts towards supporting the diocese. And since that time, we have expanded, and Dr. Stewart could tell you a little bit more about that. But what we do is on an annual basis, we have a grand gala in New York. We have several supporting events, and all the proceeds of whatever we do goes towards a scholarship program of late. We fund students at the Anglican Cathedral College, which, as Bishop earlier mentioned, is an amalgamation of St. Hilda's and St. Michael's.
Yes, so the organization started in 1990. And so since 1990, this organization's been in existence. And as Audrey indicated, there were many things that we have done to fund the Anglican diocese. One of the things that we started back in 1990 with Bishop Smith was the endowment fund. Now that is very important because we are now reestablishing that. But since 1990 in New York, a group of, and Audrey is one of the original members since 1990, and have gotten together to support the diocese. We have two basic roles, though. We are also the financial, we call it the fiscal sponsor of the diocese in the United States. So we are authorized to raise funds and channel monies to the diocese, and we've been doing that for several years.
So the gala will be in Belize or
the gala is going to be on the 9th, August the 9th at the Biltmore.
Okay.
But we are supporting that. We are hosting that. We have a big gala in New York in June every year, to raise funds. And currently we have a scholarship. We have 25 students that are in ACC that we are supporting.
That's wonderful.
How does the Anglican Church either maintain its flock or grow its flock in today's society where it can be argued that people are moving away from religion and spiritual practices?
It's a challenge. I mean, it's a challenge across the board. Yes, people are moving away from the sort of established traditional expressions of the faith. I do think though people are still spiritual. They still desire to connect with God, and so it is for the church to also perhaps make some adjustments in terms of how you reach people and how you engage them and excite them about having a life of faith and so on. For us, and sometimes we look back at the COVID period and say, we almost want to say thank God for COVID in a strange way, but it forced us to move into the internet and to use the electronic media and so forth, online.
Yeah.
And so that is now one of the avenues that we are starting to embrace more and more. You have your supporters and your detractors, of course. There are those who say, people who watch online, well, they will stop coming to the physical church. I don't quite believe that, but it's a way to reach a portion of our membership and the wider community that won't come to church, but the message is still there. Support, we depend on organizations like this. We have several other international partners. We have companion relationships with other dioceses in other parts of the world. And we share missionary priorities and so forth, and out of that we get support for the work. But it is a challenge. To put it simply, it is a challenge in this modern world in so many ways.
So if our viewers would like to assist your fundraising efforts and so forth, how can they do so? How can they attend the gala? When and where? You said it was at Biltmore. Can we have a little bit more information?
Well, yes, the gala is also a reunion of all Anglican high school. And if you're not, a graduate of any of the Anglican educational institutions, we still encourage you to come. We want friends, and that's why our organization is called Friends, because it's not only made up of Belizeans, Anglicans, we also have Americans, other islands support our cause. So here in Belize is the first time we're doing this. We encourage everybody to come. Super Furia is going to be banging it.
Hype.
Yes, and that's a great band. So come, enjoy yourself. Good food, good atmosphere, good fellowship. You mentioned about expanding the church. Fellowship is also a part of what we do. And we carry this throughout because sometimes it's workshop, having things that interest people, get them to be a part of us, and that's how, eventually they start seeing the value in it and coming to church and all that. So it's not only a physical thing of being in church, but maintaining the faith in different ways also. So get your tickets. Miss Mappy Smith. Mappy is on Racecourse Street.
Yes, she is.
And she owns a beauty shop there. So get your ticket there. It's $100 Belize. And you can also get tickets from the high school office.
And our office
the
as
central
well,
office.
On South Street,
So the gala is the 9th, which is at Biltmore at 7 p.m.
Yes.
And then the following day is...
Following morning.
Following day.
Yeah, I know I'll have to be calling up some folks. And maybe I need to set my own alarm clock because, but you know, and we also want people to know that it's not just about money as well. I mean, there are so many other ways in which you can support the work of a church or really any organization that, in a sense, wants to make a difference. You know, doesn't always do it perfectly, but that is always the desire to make a difference.
And of course, the proceedings will benefit scholarships, students,
and the overall work that we do as well.
All right.
And Clark could speak too, because we encourage independent sponsors. Anyone in Belize who wants to sponsor a child paid forward, they could also do that and contact us. We're online at fsadb.org.bz. So
one more time.
FSA, F like Frank, S like Sam, A is in Audrey, S is in Sam, DB, Diocese of Belize, at .org at .bz, .org.bz.
Well,
you could Google us.
And I just want to quickly, because these things come with a lot of sponsors, I just want to make mention quickly of groups like Boyne and Boyne, the City Council, Simon Juan, Ministry of Education, Citrus Products, Caribbean Chicken Niche, and so much more. And some of these groups will also have booths on Sunday at the so you could come and perhaps learn more about different things. There will be banners, history about the church. So it's for everybody. It's not, even though we're here speaking as Anglicans, we just want to know people to know that you can just come out and spend some time with us and learn more about who we are, if you will, and so forth, including the two of you, by the way.
With April, just one point for the gala. I just want to be clear that the proceeds for the gala is going towards the scholarships, to sustaining the scholarships, and the endowment fund. There's a $5 million endowment fund that is being established in order to support the infrastructure of the Anglican diocese. So we encourage everyone to come out and to support us as we continue in this endeavor.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, so much for joining us this morning. The 9th and the 10th will be fun-filled activities for not just the Anglican Church, but for Belizeans alike.
Correct.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Of course. We are going to take another quick break, and we'll be back with more Open Your Eyes. Don't go away.
Ready for back to school with Benny's B-Books. We have limited edition Benny's exercise and composition books just in time for the new school year. Get 6 composition books for 5 B-Bucks and 12 exercise books for only 2 B-Bucks. Benny's and B-Bucks, getting you ready for back to school.
We are ready for back to school. Are you?
Oh man, one more scroll and my data is done.
Wait, who said anything about running out? Smart just dropped a more powerful plan that now includes social media data so you can scroll till your fingers cramp.
Enjoy free social media data now included in our Flex Choice and Select postpaid plans.
Visit any Smart showroom to sign up today because connectivity just got even better. Smart, bringing people together.
Don't miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8. Live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios in Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Believe Media.
As an athlete, orthopedic health is very important. Our bodies can be so strong and yet still so delicate. Injury is something that we cannot prevent. We could try to mitigate the risk of extreme injuries. However, it is very, very important that you know and understand your body.
As we get older, our bones are getting softer. It's hard to treat degeneration which already happened. The first treatment is lifestyle modification and the support of physiotherapists. I am Dr. Sergey Adonin, an orthopedic surgeon, and we are watching Caribbean Medical TV.
Be viewing Caribbean Medical TV on this station.
Miss the ultimate singing showdown. It's KTV The Remix Season 7 every Tuesday night at 8. Live from the Bliss Center for the Performing Arts. One stage, one voice, one chance to win $10,000. Get your tickets for just $5 at GBM Studios in Coney Drive or 88 Shopping Center on Central American Boulevard. It's music, talent, and entertainment for the whole family. Don't miss it. KTV The Remix Season 7. Tune in, turn up, and sing along every Tuesday night at 8. Only on Greater Believe Media.
Riot!
Excellent.
Beautiful, beautiful. And of course, we're having a conversation all about safeguarding the Garinago heritage, Garifuna heritage in Belize. And joining us, apart from the lovely Miss Georgette Lambey, who is the co-founder and co-president of the Pablo Lambey Foundation, she's joined by Dr. Yvonne Lambey McFadden, who is a senior advisor, and Ms. Cheryl Devaney, who is a founding partner and the president of the Pablo Lambey Foundation. Ladies, good morning, and thank you for a wonderful performance.
Yes.
All right, so we want to formally be introduced to the Pablo Lambey Foundation, who you are and your mission.
Yes, good morning, good morning. My name is Cheryl Devaney, like you mentioned, and I'm the founder of the Pablo Lambey Foundation. Pablo Lambey is my grandfather, father to my mom and my aunt, and so the foundation really was created to honor his legacy. He is not only a Garifuna man, but he is also, when he was alive, worked very hard as an activist and one who worked to preserve the culture. And unity is what he found with bringing people together. And so the foundation, again, was found to honor his legacy.
What sort of initiatives have you all embarked on to be able to preserve this legacy?
Mom, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, so first of all, I need to say that I thank my daughter for even thinking about honoring my father the way in which she does, along with my sister Georgette. I'll be the first to say that she really doesn't have the time, but because of the passion, it just amazes me as a mom to just watch the work that goes into what we do and bringing my dad's legacy really alive. So we do a number of things. Primarily, it's through education. We want to uplift our Garifuna children through education to aspire to become the best of who they are, and not let having limited resources or no resources at all take away their dreams. And so we provide scholarships, and we'll talk about the statistics in a little bit. This is our third year. The first year we had 14, and Cheryl and my sister will tell you what the subsequent numbers are. But we provide scholarships, but we just don't give a scholarship, right? Once we select the recipients, and we could talk about selection process, it's rigorous and it's also closed. We don't even know the names of the kids when Cheryl sends it to us, because we do have an application process, and they write an essay. We don't know who these kids are, so it's really they earn it by their merit. She doesn't trust us because we're from Belize and we know last names, so we could kind of figure out who. As she remove all the conflict out in the selection process. But once those kids are a recipient, they become a part of the Lambey family. Okay, we're gonna love on these children. We'll pour everything that we can into these children. Hence, but the preservation piece of it, last year they learned how to cook hudut from beginning to end. They were the actual, my cousin Gloria came from Hopkins, taught them from beginning to end, and then they served their parents. While the parents and the kids were busy cooking the hudut, I had a parent session. I'm an educator, okay? And so I did a session with the parents on how to make their students successful, what the home needs to do. Because sometimes we talk about school and teachers and the home isn't doing their part, okay? And so we really need to focus on that. And then the cultural preservation piece. You see my sister, she's really the heart of she takes from the heart of my dad. She's into culture. She's a composer, she beats the drum, she teaches song, and she does this in California too. That's why these two boys that she had them from their small. They came from California. And so that culture preservation piece is critical to us, because one of the things that my dad always said was, "Ma blade a hame garifna de wo." Don't forget. There's a song that she composed that I said was inspired by my father, even though he had passed, and all the messages are filled in that song. It's almost the national anthem of the family, that we shed a tear every time we hear that song, because it reminds us, and she used my dad's voice in that song that reminds us. So as his children, we are even, and grandchildren, and in-laws, we're becoming even more deeper rooted in who this man is. And as we do the work, because there's a lot of planning that goes on behind the scene, right? We try to connect with his spirit so that we represent him well and remove ourselves out of the equation. So it's a lot of work, I need to say. So because we give the scholarship, provide laptops to kids, because my daughter realized when these kids were applying for scholarship, Miss, I have to wait till I come home for you, she phone. That's when we know there's a technological need. Right. And so we filled that. Last year we started with uniforms. So there's a lot that we do.
And a lot of work that goes behind it, because for the first year it was just us. You know, we a lot of sales, raffle, we have our books, we do our cups, and my niece is good in getting stuff going, but they're not good in sales.
So you're the marketer.
Yeah, she's a marketer. Whenever you see her, look out to buy something.
So in LA, when they see me, they say, there come the bully seller. And I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because I always tell them, look, don't forget our people, you know. This is how you support. You don't have to be there, and we have a lot of family and friends, and our family is, my dad believed that it take a village, right? And I see a switch in where the village is, they go this way, so we are fighting with our scholarship recipient to be a village. It take a village to raise a child. They're in our village, so even with their parents, we like handle these kids right, don't stress them out, and tell them they could call us, they could text us, they could email us. If we need to advocate for them, we also do that.
Is it a high school scholarship?
Okay, so
yeah, it's high school, junior college, and then this year we have our very first scholarship recipient who just got accepted to UWI, and so we're so excited about that for him. But our goal really is to see the kids transition from high school, first form, all the way through entering their career, and so we're going to follow them through the pathway, help them build their network, and then encourage them along the way.
Wonderful.
They have to maintain a 3.0 to keep the scholarship. So once they're recipients, they stay until they get to that point. But that 3.0 is critical, because we feel we have to set high expectations. Right. We want them, you know, we want them to be competitive.
And we just don't leave them, we just don't say get a 3.0, and we have tools. If they need tutoring, we find tutoring. If they call and they said, I'm struggling with this, my sister even do session with them on the phone, because we want them to succeed, so we find the tools, we find the instruments, we find whatever they need to succeed. They have no reason to say, but unless stress, family stress at home, but beside that, all what they need, we try to provide. My niece set up a site where they could go help themselves to do all that. So we really do a lot of research for them, for us to make sure that these kids, and I tell them, we have kids, and I told my niece we have 3.0. My sister works with special needs. She's a special need, and I said we have to think about those kids too. Eventually now we need to redirect our mind. We have these kids. I'm big on preservation. So I fight for preservation. So I say we also need to focus on preservation, because we're doing that. When my sister decides to do agriculture, if you plant, you eat, right? So you never go run out if you plant your own stuff. Tomato is expensive now in LA. You see all the tariff and stuff. But if you plant, nobody will give you tariff on what you plant. So doing that with Golisi, being the first girl from the school, and my dad was huge on getting a girl from the school, I support Golisi as much as I can. So I told my sister, can you guys take the scholarship recipients to plant some trees and at Golisi, so the kids could take care of it and say, this is ours. We're trying to go in all different angles to cover. The Pablo Lambey children are like a rainbow tribe. Everybody come with their own strength. The grandchildren they come with their own strength, but we take the strength in collaboration to develop it and to say, this is the strength that we'll build, you know.
How do you, so you guys are in the United States, right? How do you keep the culture enduring, notwithstanding the fact that you're so far away from home? You dress, eat, speak the language, the faith and the spirituality is also there. How do you guys maintain this in an environment that would seem completely foreign from where it's practiced here in Belize?
Like in the States?
So I am in California. Like I said, I brought my 2 boys with me. Like I told them, I want you guys to come with me. I had them from they were young. I played the drum and I helped them to come up. I reached a point that I couldn't do it no more. So I asked my other drummers that some of them was in my group before, you need to take them further now, but handle them right. So I keep my eyes on them. We perform a lot. We go, anytime they have event, I represented the Smithsonian Festival. I went to the Smithsonian Festival to represent the Belize people of LA to do my cultural stuff. I do go to St. Vincent for workshop 2 years in a row to preserve. I went to the Arima First People in Trinidad to preserve. So in LA, we have cultural groups. Even though I'm a busy person, on Sundays, so 19th we would be active, the kids would be celebrating. We still try to bring kids and teaching them the language. Now these boys are growing up, they graduated next year. I decide that I want to give them the opportunity to see that you could beat your drum, you could be a girlfriend, but I want you to have a direction in life. So I made the sacrifice to say my boys will be coming with me to see what we're doing, to say, hey, we could give back. I'm not rich, but I'm rich in my heart. And then it flows. God bless me to where, you know, it happened. We've been shipping boxes like nobody's business. Like the shipment company love us. When they see us, they smile. Because we have to do backpacks. My niece have to come down. It's a lot of work. It's a lot. But again, my father was born in Honduras, but his love was where he birthed his children, and that's Belize.
Yeah. I think for our viewers that are watching that might be interested in applying to be a recipient to your scholarship, how can they do that? And you said it's a very rigorous process, but what would be their requirements?
Yes, absolutely. And so generally once a year, we open the scholarship application usually around December timeframe. And then we give the kids up until May to apply. Within that, we outline clearly all the requirements for them, one of them clearly being an essay, and in writing an essay. And one of the things that we really ask the kids to do is really take your time, proofread your essay. As you go into college and into high school, you have to learn to present yourself in writing. And so that's a critical component and a high determining factor in addition to their GPA. We do ask several questions about, you know, we don't ask specifically, are you Garifuna? It's how do you help to preserve the Garifuna culture is really what we're interested in. So we do have scholarship recipients who are not Garifuna by birth, but they celebrate and they push the culture forward, and that's what we're looking for. But back to your original question, once a year we open up the college application, it's an essay process, and then the kids would submit their essays in order to be selected.
And where would they upload these essays?
So once they apply online, they would find all the information online. So Pablo Lambey Foundation.org, and then there's a specific page pertaining to the scholarship itself. And then we also post on Facebook and the different social media platforms. We inform the school and ask the school to showcase it as well, just so that we have the opportunity to reach as many students as possible.
And we go live with the mayor in Dangriga, so that people know that it's happening. I need to say, because we're from Dangriga and we're Garinago, that was our focus. Southern districts, Garifuna children, primarily, because they were the ones who were always locked out of opportunities. So as a Garifuna organization, those were our priorities. However, if any other child apply, they're not turned down. I remember one, I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, Cheryl asked me to drive a printer to Silgrass, to a scholarship recipient who's a non-Garifuna, you know. And I need to say, coming from Dangriga, especially living on Oak Street, we had all the different cultures and we got along. We have a lot of our Creole friends who support the foundation. You know, so in no way would we discriminate, but everybody need to understand we have to help these girls, not children, because they're the least who would get the support.
It's about the safeguarding of the culture as well.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you all want to know a little bit more about the Pablo Lambey Foundation, you can head on over to the pablolambeyfoundation.org and follow them on their Facebook and their Instagram pages. Wonderful. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
And of course, we want to say thank you to all of our guests for joining us this morning and having these very important conversations with us. And of course, to you, our viewers, for tuning in today. It is July 29th. If it is your birthday today, happy birthday to you from all of us here at OIE and GBM. And if you have a birthday shout out or just a question or a comment, you can drop us a line right here at oie@channel5belize.com. You can also catch us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OIE Belize. We also have a WhatsApp number that's 675-2555, so you can text us if you have any queries. And please do us a favor and join us tonight for KTV The Remix that starts at 8 p.m. And join us again tomorrow when you open your eyes.
To start your morning right.
Be sure to keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open.
We'll see you soon, please. Have a wonderful day.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank, our country, your bank, and Smart, bringing people together.